Oh, hey, well, hello, it is Tease. Good day. Good afternoon, good evening. Hope all are well. Hope all are safe. Um, so I watched two videos, and both of the videos were pretty much being held like accountable for words and actions. Yeah. So with the words and actions, the first video I seen was a lady, and she was kind of talking. Well, it was more than one video that I watched of her. So she's basically talking down or belittling her wife, and she's supposed to be a healer, helping people and getting people on the right track and detoxing and cleansing and getting one with self, and which is all great. You could still learn, and you could still do the whole eat the meat and spin out the bones. But then it's like every other video, it's the whole, why would you do that, or why would you say something while I'm recording? And mind you, they're both right next to each other, both in the vehicle, and she is a part of it because she's either holding the phone or moderating or whatever it is. She's a part of the video anyway, but she's to shut the hell up, basically. So with this particular lady, she's basically the man in the relationship, and I'm thinking she's taking the whole masculine role a little too seriously, because if it's something where the men can't really get away with it, then it's like, you shouldn't do it either, lady. The whole being pushy and I control you, or shut up when I'm talking. Women don't accept that from the men, and I had to say something to her, because it's kind of like, yeah, I don't. Could you please stop talking to this grown ass woman like this? This is a grown ass woman. You're obviously taking advantage of her. Either her kindness, you're either taking advantage of her kindness. I didn't say all that as far as what she's taking advantage of, but from the outside looking in, she's either taking advantage of her kindness or taking advantage of her handicap. Whatever it is, she's not not being kind, so to speak. Basically being rude. So that was strike one. So I'm thinking like, okay, and now if that's me, or if I'm on the outside looking in, if I see myself acting like that, talking to people crazy like that, I'm gonna check my damn self. For the most part, I try to speak respectful. Even if I'm having an outburst, I'll probably have an outburst and come back like, oh, excuse what just happened back there, but that talking to people crazy just off the strength, or I'm going to talk to you crazy because you're my husband, or talk to you crazy because you're my sibling, or whatever the case may be, or students. I'm just like, I was just so disgusted seeing that, to where it's like, I had to stop and look at my damn self, like, do I talk to people like that? And I don't, so because I see, I put myself in people's shoes, but you still, there's still room for improvement. And then the second video was a guy. He was pretty much, he was describing a lady. She was like, oh, well, she can get the point across and do it in a classy way, even if it's true and even if it's super real. And I'm thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that also made me evaluate myself, and it was like, okay, now can you say what needs to be said? Because sometimes I could be labeled as quote unquote extreme, even though it's not. Trust me, it gets much more extra than me. But I'm thinking like, could I be more classy? Because I would find myself very classy. Like, I'm not saying I don't use profanity or I don't make mistakes, but could I be more classy, or could I loosen up or soften up some? Sure. Will I? I probably will, yet in certain circumstances. Like, say if I'm in the, but anyway. Yeah, so it gave me like two epiphanies. Like, okay, wow, this is something to work on, or something to look forward to as far as change. And I'm thinking like, stop and look at your damn self. Like, okay, what needs to be worked on? And I'm like, that's what I wanted to focus on. I'm like, yeah, what needs to be worked on? But then again, I did look up the lady. I'm thinking like, okay, well, it's good to learn from, like-minded people. Good to learn from people who are, effective. And now I looked at her. Now if you ask me what the definition of classy is, like, okay, literally, like, you carry yourself as a lady at all times. And I'm thinking, well, this lady had on lingerie. He probably said, yeah, she's classy. Yeah, classy, right? Because she ain't showing all her assy. But it's like, she definitely had on lingerie. Like, pretty much, you're showing a whole lot. And to me, I'm not saying that just because you're showing cleavage or have on lingerie that you're not classy. But it's like, on the internet, though, something about this different on. And be careful what you do on the internet. I'm thinking like, okay, well, maybe I'm just talking too much on the internet, or maybe I'm just venting too much, or pissing you too much on the internet, which is, I guess for me that's fine, but I wouldn't be okay with being. I wouldn't say like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna be naked online, and I could do that in a classy fashion, which I probably wouldn't. Like I say, you would think like you would get paid for that if I'm naked on. But like I say, you see what classiness kind of slides out the door with that. So I'm thinking like, okay, he probably just intrigued what he sees, and which is probably me. That's probably true with me too. I could probably cuss out the world and literally have the world to kill themselves, and all I have to do is show a little bit of cleavage. And I'm thinking that that's probably what had me in the closet. It's not that I'm just saying crazy things. It's if I just show a little bit, just show, But anyway, I'm thinking that's probably what it is, you know. 'Cause I'm like, I'm like, how is that? I was like, yeah, classy, all right. And literally every picture this lady was in, she basically was naked. He was like, yeah, he's like, and the way he described her, like, okay, wow, you can listen to this with your family. He's like, me and my wife can listen there. Or maybe it is all about the message, though. Yeah, but yeah, I looked at her video, like, yeah, she sure shows a lot, which explains why he really likes her. But yeah, but still, though, it's good to stop and rewind on yourself. It's like, what is there to need to be worked on? And I'm like, I would say, I guess, you know, room for improvement, you know. And I'm always, literally, always open for the truth. You know, I don't care how it feels. You know, even in my head, I'm not saying that I have voices in my head, but literally, when you just like stop and look at yourself, in the back of my head, like the voice in the background of my head was pretty much like, okay, well, what about this or that, or what about when you do this, or when you pretty much hold me accountable, and instead of me saying like, shut up, or security, you know, instead of shutting it down, like, who asked you, I pretty much was like, no, let that be said, because that's true. You know, I don't care what it is. It's like, oh, hey, well, remember you robbed the bank last week? And I'm thinking like, that probably could have wanted to forget it or lie about it. But I'm thinking if it's true, I wouldn't say, no, I didn't happen. You know, I would be like, you know what? That is true. And that needs to be said because it's the truth, you know? So I'm okay with the truth. So I don't think I need to work on that. So definitely honest, perhaps maybe too honest, but yeah, I would say maybe loosening it up a little bit. Maybe don't be so quick to bite. Bite. Well, I don't want to say bite later, but I mean maybe bite. Bite to be slow to bite, at least at first. Yeah. So yeah. And like I say, it's still nice, quiet. Like I say, zen. That's why I just want to just remain zen. Don't be so itchy. Yeah, so don't be so I don't want to be so itchy in the seat. You know, like, oh, like you're easily irritated. You know, be zen. Like I say, looking forward to a monk mind and a demeanor of a dove, and a bite of a serpent, and you know, just pretty much a smooth operator. Like to still get the law and order, but it's gonna go smoothly to where I can literally, politely, instead of telling people, "Hey, go to hell," I'm gonna politely ask you to go to hell. You know, and it's gonna be effective because it's done the right way. Yeah, so I think that's nice. Looking forward to change. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'm always down for that. Down for the positivity. All right, but anyway, but hope all are safe, and I will return if another topic comes to. Yeah, all right, we'll be safe.